Hi friends, it has been too long since we have been able to practice outside together. I have my sunnies on just because the sun is shining directly into my eyes over here, but I do have Scooter out here with me. He is just hanging out off camera right over there. So in the spirit of being outside and returning to a practice where we have wind and sounds and more depth to our environment, I thought maybe we could work on some twists. I always like to do twists in spring. There's something about working out old energy and bringing in new, making space for new energy that I think is always really nice to do in spring. And in my mind, twists are the ideal tool to achieve that. So all that being said, I'm going to start with seated meditation. So I'm going to sit with my blocks underneath me, as I like to do. Tuck in my shirt before we get started. Here. And then we'll be off to a good start. So, wherever you are, whatever environment you're in, take a moment to bring your attention to your surroundings. And then bring your attention to any and all of the points that you're connected to the floor. So for me, that is my shins, tops of my feet, but also my hip bones. They're in contact with my blocks. So that's a level of support that I'm receiving as well. So while we focus on twists today, we also want to focus on a sense of grounding through all of it. And pardon me if I get a little sneezy. Of course, with spring comes allergies. So see if you can find neutral with your pelvis, pubic bone and tailbone both rooting down. You can tuck your chin ever so slightly and feel the back of the neck grow long, straight, out from the back of the spine. And notice all of the little sensations that you might be encountering in your body at this moment. So maybe your environment is quite still and quiet. So maybe sensations are coming mostly from your own breath as it moves through the body. Temperature changes around the nostrils. The way your clothing shifts with your inhales and exhales. But if you're like me, maybe you're feeling like you have a little bit more sensation to pay attention to, like the wind as it moves across the body and moves the little peach fuzz, moves through your hair. Maybe there are several different kinds of sounds coming to you, smells. And if your mind wanders off, just bring it back. This moment, this place. Feeling your breath as it rolls in and rolls out. So when you're ready, if you happen to be laying down, we'll work our way up to seated. And we'll begin by bringing our hands to heart center and taking a big inhale all the way in. Big exhale all the way out. Big inhale all the way in. Big exhale all the way out. Wonderful. So if you happen to be sitting on something, we're going to move it out from underneath us if that's comfortable for you. We're going to sit crisscross applesauce. So if you know that's difficult, you can always leave a little bit of a lift right underneath you. I'm going to remove mine, so I don't need as much. So, sitting all the way down. We're going to start with some gentle spinal seated twists. So we're going to inhale, reach up and over with our right arm. Exhale, coming all the way over to the side. So lateral stretches first. Inhale up, reach over with the left, all the way up and over. Keeping both sits bones down on the floor. This is very important. So only go as far as you need to in order to get a stretch. Inhaling up, exhaling over while maintaining your butt down on the floor. Inhale up, exhale over. Feels so good. Inhale up, exhale over to the first side one more time, and then this time we're going to bend the elbow, turn the palm facing away from us, and then as we exhale, we're going to bring our elbow down to the opposite knee and turn the palm towards us. Inhale, open up and away. Exhale and close. Inhale, open. Exhale and close. One more. Inhale and open. Exhale and close. And we're going to stay here for half a breath. Inhale, or for half a moment. Inhale all the way in. Exhale all the way out. And we're going to walk our hands in front of us and come down into a soft forward fold. Breathe all the way in, all the way out. Feel a stretch across your low back, maybe into the hips. And then when you feel ready, we'll come all the way up. We're going to crisscross our legs the opposite way to the other side. So this time we're going to inhale, reach up with the left arm. Exhale, come over, keeping both sits bones down on the floor. So notice if you have a big difference between sides, that's totally fine. So from here, turn the palm face up, away from us, bend the elbow. Exhale, bring the elbow down to the opposite knee, turn the palm towards you. Inhale and open. Exhale and close. Inhale and open. Exhale and close. One more, just for good measure. Inhaling all the way up. Exhaling all the way down. Staying here for a moment, breathing all the way in. All the way out. It's a big stretch through the rib cage there. And then come all the way down into your forward fold one more time. So notice how this feels different. It's probably much more uncomfortable than the other side, but that's a good thing. When we're practicing yoga, we're practicing being uncomfortable on our mats so that when life is uncomfortable, we have a little bit higher tolerance for it. One more big inhale, one more big exhale. And then we'll inhale, come all the way up. And then from here, we're going to come onto our hands and knees. Hands directly underneath the shoulders, knees directly underneath the hips. Big inhale. Exhale, lift the spine. Doing all our standard warm-ups this morning. Inhale and open, or this afternoon, or wherever you happen to be. Exhale, lift. Inhale, open. One more, exhaling and lifting. Inhaling and opening. Fabulous. Now from here, we're going to transition into downward facing dog. If downward facing dog does not feel good to you today, you can always stay on hands and knees and press through the heel of one leg as you extend it behind you. Same goes for the other side, right? So these are options. Otherwise, we'll tuck under the toes, shift the weight back over towards the heels, and then start loading weight into your hands. So we're feeling expansion across the palms, space in between the fingers. Press back into your heels and slowly lift up with your hips. Pressing back and trying to find neutral for you. So ideally, we're looking to have a neutral spine. So that may mean that you need to bend your knees and lengthen through the spine, and then work towards straightening the legs. Taking some big inhales and exhales here. And then from here, wherever you are, we're slowly going to work towards a standing forward fold. So I'm going to walk my feet up nice and slow in between my hands. And your hands can be, your feet can be about hip width apart, or they can be toes together, heels slightly apart with traditional Ashtanga. Whatever makes your body feel comfortable today. You can bend the knees deeply, allow the chest to come down onto the thighs. Big inhale here, big exhale. Then when you're ready, we're going to bend the knees. Inhale, come all the way up, hands high above the head, and then exhale, coming back to neutral. Fabulous. If you have a head rush, let it pass. And we're going to do a C-series salutation. So big inhale here. Exhale, release the hands. Inhale, they come up overhead. Lift your chest towards the ceiling, the sky, wherever you happen to be. And then exhale, come all the way down into your own lap. No half lift in a C-series. So we're going to pick up our right foot, reach it back. Release the right knee, top of the right foot down onto our mat. Now if you have blocks, you might want to have them handy. So that you can keep them on either side of your front foot to support you in the low lunge. So I like to have blocks because I can come up a little bit higher, I can come away from the stretch a little bit, and really focus on drawing my front hips straight back so that they're coming forwards with an even parallel line to the top of my mat. finding your stretch. Dropping the tailbone down. Trying not to spill out of the pelvic bowl. All right, so then from here, we're going to move blocks out of the way if you're using them. Put your hands down, press into your hands, tuck under the toes, lift the back knee. Front foot comes back, so we're in plank. And then you can either transition directly to downward facing dog or do knees, chest, and chin for 8-point stick. And then release like an inchworm all the way down onto your mat. Inhale, lift through the chest for cobra variation. And then exhale, transition back, tuck under the toes, and lift up for downward facing dog. Big inhale here. Big exhale. And then from here, left foot comes forward this time. Nope. And then from here, right foot comes forward this time. Release the left knee, top of the left foot. Same thing if you want, you can use blocks. So we're going to put them on either side of the front foot. Feel the front hip reaching straight back. So I like to come away just a little bit so I can feel that action and then investigate. And then investigate coming forwards. Lifting up through the chest, dropping the outside edge of your front hip down and back. Soften the eyes. Try to relax into your stretch. And then from here, we'll tuck under the back toes, lift the back knee, shift the weight back just enough so that you can rock up, stepping up in between the hands, relaxing into another forward fold here. Allow your head to hang. Neck is loose. And then from here, bend the knees, inhale, come all the way up. Hands high above the head. Lift through the chest, small standing back bend. And then exhale. Coming back to center, so MSDT. So do that again. Big inhale. Exhale, release. Inhale, hands come up. Lift through your chest. Exhale, come all the way down. This time, left foot steps back first. And you can choose to use your blocks again, or maybe lift up the chest a little bit higher. So we're still feeling the front leg reaching all the way back, lifting through the chest. And we're going to take a small twist here. So right hand can tuck into the right hip. I like to tuck my thumb into the hip crease here. And then left hand, outside edge of the hand, or palm is going to come to the outside edge of your knee, but make sure you're pressing the knee into the palm so you're not falling towards your midline. You're keeping the knee lined up. And then working towards turning the chest without really using the hands. They're here as a guide for a little bit of extra support. Then once you've achieved this, drop towards the floor a little bit more. Feel your low ribs coming in towards your spine. Seeing where you can soften. But for me, I find engaging the glute on the back leg helps drop into the pose a little bit more. And then we'll inhale and release. Tuck under the back toes, lift the back knee. Same thing, transition either directly to downward facing dog or come back for plank. And then knees, chest, and chin all the way down for Ashtanga Pranam. And then inchworm forwards and lift the chest for Cobra. And then transition back through Betalasana or tabletop. Tuck under the toes, lift the knees for downward facing dog. Find length through the spine. Use this as your resting pose. Hey, Scooty. Hey, Betty. And then from here, left foot comes forward in between the hands. Release the right knee, top of the right foot. And here we are again in our low lunge. So again, I'm going to start with my twist first. So I'm up and out of my lunge a little bit. And take my left hand, tuck the thumb into the hip crease, fingers dropping directly down towards the floor. Right hand, outside edge of the hand comes to outside edge of the knee, but notice I'm not pressing the knee in. The knee is pressing out and away, so I can get a little bit of pressure here. Then, without really using my arms, I'm turning the shoulders as much as I can. And I notice today I have, lots of space coming to the left and almost no space in the opposite direction. So, from here, once I get to my stretch, then I'm going to slowly drop the legs into a deeper lunge. You can turn the face to look over the opposite shoulder. Feeling the low ribs coming in. So we're trying to maintain structure here, which alleviates any pressure that might be accumulating in the low back. One more breath here, all the way in, all the way out. And then release the hands down, tuck under the back toes, lift the back knee, rock just enough so we can step up in between the hands, coming into a soft forward fold, slowly working towards straight legs, but never having to get there. And then we'll bend the knees in, he'll come all the way up, hands above the head, lift the chest, and exhale. Alright, well now we're going to switch to A series. So, equal weight into the feet. Noticing how we're feeling grounded here. Take a big inhale. Exhale, release the hands. Inhale, they're going to come up, overhead, press together, no standing back bend. So notice you're going to keep your hands in front of the line of your body. When you bring them back, causes back bend. So we want to keep them in front so this can remain neutral. Then from here, we're going to exhale, come all the way down into our own lap. Inhale, half lift. So this time we are finding length through the spine, horizontal to the floor. No pressure through the hands if you can avoid it. And then exhale, hands down, stepping back, moving through your vinyasa, whatever that happens to look like. If you want, you can do Chaturanga Dandasana like me, inhaling, lifting up for upward facing dog. Again, feeling a sense of groundedness through the hands, through the tops of the feet, dropping the pelvis down towards the floor, and then lift up and back for downward facing dog. And then from the bottom of our exhale, stepping up in between the hands, inhaling, half lifting, exhaling, forward folding, and then inhaling, coming all the way up, hands above the head, exhale, coming back, Samastiti. Again, big inhale, exhale, release. Inhale, hands come up, exhale, we come down, inhale, half lift, exhale, hands down, step back, move through your vinyasa. Lifting through the chest. Exhaling back. So now, we're going to keep the feet where they are in downward facing dog. So not bringing any foot closer to the midline. We're going to take the right foot, inhale, bring it up behind the right hand. So from here, we're doing high lunge. We're taking the front hip, reaching it straight back. So we're not letting it come forwards. It's reaching back. Opposite hip, instead of dropping down towards the floor, is remaining nice and high. And we have horizontal space in between the feet. If anything, we're thinking about the heel on the back foot dropping in. So we're finding external rotation in the bottom leg here. All right, so then from here, we're going to inhale, come all the way up. Your hips hopefully are parallel to the short edge of the mat. You might have to adjust your stance. Mine was a little wide, so I'm going to shorten it just a tiny bit. Lift up the chest, drop the tailbone down. So then from here, we're starting out nice and high. You can bring the hands together, keeping the hips parallel to the front edge, so really pulling the front hip back towards the back edge of the mat. We're going to inhale, lift up, into a high crescent lunge, and try to maintain your balance if you can. I'm having a hard time today, so I wonder if there's a full moon sometime. Then from here, we're going to bring the hands to heart center, and we're going to rotate. So you can choose to do the same rotation that we did before in our low lunge, or you can bring the outside edge of your elbow to the outside edge of your knee on the opposite side. Press the hands together and lift the chest. But be mindful this whole time, heel edge of your foot is dropping down towards the mat internally, towards the midline. It's dropping towards the midline, which means there's external rotation on the leg behind you. Super light pressure through the hands. See that? No effort here. And then we'll release, bring the hands down, step back, and we're going to move through vinyasa, taking our time. Feeling the earth underneath you. Then from here, other side. So this time, keeping the right foot where it is, left foot's going to come up behind the left hand. We'll inhale up for our high lunge. Ideally, hips are parallel to the short edge of your mat. Back leg does not need to be straight. You might have to shorten your stance a little bit, but here we are. Nice and high, and same thing. We're going to bring the hands together. Inhale, lift them up. Giving ourselves a big stretch from pinkies through the front of the abdominal wall, down the hip to the heel. Then we're going to bring the hands to heart center and move into our twist. So either hands coming into the original position that we used, or outside edge of the elbow is going to come down. And as we come down, we're still reaching back with the back foot. Heel is dropping towards the midline. We can stack the hands and come into a twist, but be mindful we're not dropping this hip, okay? Keeping this nice and lifted. Find length through your spine. And then we'll release the hands down, step back, move through vinyasa. Lift through the chest. Exhale, release back. Big inhale, big exhale. Step the feet up to the top of your mat in between the hands. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, forward fold. Then from here, bend the knees. Inhale, come all the way up. Hands above the head. Exhale, hands to heart center. And release. So, We're going to do standing wide-legged forward fold. If you want, grab a prop, put it down in front of you, and we're going to take our feet and keep them about one of our own leg lengths in distance, but outside edges of the feet are parallel. So that might mean that your toes turn in a little bit. Now from here, I have my block directly in front of me. I'm going to lift up through the chest. Exhale, forward fold. Hands come down. Now we're finding lots of length here through the spine. If you can, you could even bring your hands down towards the floor if they reach. Now we're going to use a unique twist here that I don't often teach. So we're going to take our right hand and reach it to see if you can grab a hold of your left ankle, and then from here, lifting the weight out of your left hand, we're going to reach it forwards and on a diagonal. And this whole time we're checking in with the hips and shifting them back and to the right. So they're not getting off center. So we're having a big stretch through the side body here. And then we'll inhale, release, bring your left hand back up underneath the left shoulder, release the right hand. Here we are, back in our standard forward fold. You can bend and straighten the legs, giving yourself some space. Then we're going to do the other side. So this time, left hand reaches over to the right ankle, and we're dropping the right shoulder down towards the floor. The left shoulder down towards the floor. We're shifting the hips back and to the left. And then if you can, you're lifting and taking the weight out of your extended hand and reaching it on a diagonal away. So we're acting as if we could turn the chest open to the side to the right. Big inhales here, big exhales. Check in with the hips, make sure they haven't wandered off. So if you're wondering what this looks like from the side, I'll show you quickly. I'll do the other side again. So we're reaching, lifting the chest towards the sky. One more big inhale and exhale here. And then release, come back to center. Bend the knees, bring your hands to your hips. Inhale, come all the way up in one motion, nice and slow. Then from here, we'll heel, toe, the feet together. Now we'll do a balance. So starting out with A series once again, coming up to the top of the mat. Inhale, lift through the chest. Exhale, come all the way down. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, hands down, step back. Move through your vinyasa. And then at the bottom of your exhale, we're going to step up in between the hands. Inhale, half lift. And then we're going to stay here. If you have your blocks handy, you can bring them underneath the hands. So now here we are, stacked and supported underneath the shoulders. We're going to take our right foot and reach it straight back. So we're coming into Warrior 3. I like to put a little bend in my standing leg, just so that I know I'm not locking the joint. There's some flexibility and movement here. Then, because we've reached back with the left or the right leg, toes pointing directly down towards the floor, we're going to transition our weight into the right hand to pick up the left hand, bring it to the back of the pelvis. So you can stay with both hands on your blocks if you want the support. If you don't need it, then keeping the toes pointing directly down towards the floor, we're going to open the chest to the side. Big inhales and exhales. Strong energy back through the extended leg, through the heel. And then we'll release the twist, release the balance, bringing both feet down. And you can bend and straighten one leg and then the other. Wonderful. And we're going to do the other side. So this time, slowly pouring the weight into the right foot, we're going to reach back directly with the left. Heel down to the floor, or heel straight back, toes down to the floor. Then, after you've achieved strong energy, a long line from the back of the neck through the back of the chest, down through the leg, you're going to pour your weight into the left hand to pick up the right hand, put it on the back of the pelvis, and then maybe turn the chest. It's a big stretch, big ask for the outside edge of your hip flexor on the standing leg. And then we'll release the twist, release the balance, coming into a soft forward fold. Then from here, we'll drive back down into our vinyasa, so hands down on the mat, stepping back, moving through your vinyasa. And then from here, I know downward facing dog, we're going to come all the way down into child's pose for just a couple of breaths. So take whatever variation feels comfortable for you. My favorite is bringing the hands back by the feet, palm face up, and interlacing my index finger around my pinky toe. But if you have a different variation that you like, knees can be together, they can be apart. Choose what works for you. Big breaths. All the way in, all the way out. And then when you're ready, we're going to bring the hands underneath the shoulders and he'll come all the way up. If you see me looking over here, Scooter has been trying to catch a chipmunk for the last half an hour. And I'm just making sure he doesn't get it. So we're going to bring the feet in front of us. We're going to come into Paschimottanasana. So hip bones are right underneath us. We're not tipping the pelvis back, but we are almost imagining we're tipping it forward. So we're really dropping down through the pubic bone, sitting up nice and tall. If there's any rotation on the legs, it's a slight internal rotation. So now from here, we're going to sit up with the chest. Inhale, reach up with both arms, and then exhale, come forwards into our own lap. Big inhales, big exhales. So you can come into this with straight legs, like what I'm doing today, or bend the knees, allow the chest to come down onto the thighs, and then slowly scoot your heels out. Either way is perfectly fine as long as you listen to your body and respect its boundaries and limits. Two more big breaths here. And when you're ready, we'll inhale and come up. And we're going to keep our setup the way it is and move the legs a little bit. So we're going to pick up the right foot, bring it in towards the chest. So you can choose to stop here, Or take the right foot, bring it across to the outside edge of your extended leg, sitting here, keeping the whole sole of the foot down on your mat. Or one final progression would be to bend the knee of the extended leg and bring the sole of the foot next to your hip here. So notice we're not sitting on this. And if this creates a lot of pressure here in your bottom knee joint, do not bend the bottom leg. We're going to extend it out. So for some of us, sitting up nice and tall here is more than enough effort. But for those of us who want to incorporate a little bit of a twist, I'm going to take the outside edge of the opposite arm and or the inside edge, and wrap it around the front of our knee that's coming up towards the chest, tugging it in, or taking the outside edge of the elbow, bringing it to the top of our thigh here. Opposite hand is just going to reach back on the gentlest of fingertips and give us a little bit of support to encourage dropping the pubic bone down towards the front. So you can flex through the, extend through the hand, through the fingers, finding energy here. But what's key is you stay in the same position with the arms or without the arms. Maybe they give you the tiniest little bit of adjustment and an assist, but not much. Sitting up as tall as you possibly can. And then we'll inhale and release, and we'll do the other side. So unwind your pretzel, extend both legs, give them a shake. And then this time we're going to take the left foot, either bringing it up to the inside edge, bringing it to the outside edge, or also adding in bend of your bottom knee. So either way, sole of the foot is all the way down on the mat. You're bringing in your heel as close as it will come and sitting up nice and tall. So then from here, if you'd like, incorporating a twist. Opposite hand either wraps around the front of the knee here, or outside edge of your elbow comes around so that you can come into a small spinal twist. Deep breaths all the way in, all the way out. You know it's hard in the twist. Do the best you can. And then from here, we'll release our twist. Inhale, coming around. We'll do our forward fold one more time, see if that changed anything. Inhale, reach up with the arms. Exhale, come forwards. Maybe you have lots more space, maybe it's the same. Big breaths, feeling the expansion of the inhale and the exhale across the upper back. And then flowing down into the lower back. And then when you're ready, we'll inhale and come up. One more stretch. We're going to bring the soles of the feet here together, and the knees are going to drop out to the side. So we're coming into cobbler pose. And as the knees drop, the soles of the feet start to open like a book. And for some of us, again, we're just going to sit up nice and tall. If it's really difficult to have your feet this close to your face, you can always sit up on something, whether it be a blanket or a block, whatever you need to help you feel a little bit more comfortable. Scoot. Stay out of there. Then from here, we're going to sit up nice and tall, dropping the pubic bone straight down towards the floor, keeping it as balanced with the tailbone as you can. And then if you want a little bit more stretch, coming forwards into a forward fold. Big breaths all the way in, all the way out. And then when you feel ready, we'll inhale, come up. Try to draw the knees in on their own if you can. And we're gonna roll so that we can lay all the way down onto our mats. So from here, we're gonna extend down through the heels, finding a moment here in Shavasana. We're just going to visit it. And then we're going to bring our right knee in towards the chest. Give it a squeeze. You can use both hands here. I'm just only using one so I can keep a hold of a scooter. And then you can take the knee in the opposite hand, draw it across the midline, coming into a soft spinal twist here. Keeping both shoulders down on your mat. And if you want, you can bring the knee down onto a prop. Oftentimes that's really comfortable. Or you can let it hang in space. Taking some big breaths here. Trying to find some release across the outside edge of your hip flexor. Taking a moment here, feeling the weight dropping through the back, right side of your pelvic girdle into the floor. And then we'll switch. So this time extending through the right leg, pulling the left knee up towards the chest. And then taking the left knee in the opposite hand, we're going to draw it across the midline. Same thing if you'd like it to come down onto a block. Feel free to make that adjustment for yourself. Be mindful that you want to start feeling this twist at the level of your navel and higher. If you're starting to feel it lower in your spine, you're starting to feel pinching or burning of any kind, you do want to lift up. So sometimes with passive stretches, it's a little bit more easy to tolerate bad placement of a twist. So please be mindful as we're here. And then when you're ready, we'll inhale, come back up to center. Draw both legs in, give them a squeeze. And then when you feel ready, we're going to relax down into Shavasana. Extend through the arms and the legs, feeling your weight drop down into your mat. Once again, coming into a sense of groundedness, connection with your mat, and the earth underneath it, and releasing any extra effort you might still be holding on to. We did a good amount of twisting today, and sometimes that can make your back feel a little bit tired after all that work. So if that's the case, feel free to bend the knees and either put blocks underneath them, or you can put the whole sole of the foot down on your mat and drop your knees in towards each other. This is another really nice option here. Allows the low back to relax a little bit more rather than coming all the way down onto the floor with straight legs. So wherever you are, wherever you need to be, covering up if you need to. We're coming into our final resting pose. So we're releasing any ideas that we had about how class went, how we felt in our body. And we're just dropping in to ourselves. Dropping into this moment, this place. Dropping into your body, your breath. If you happen to wander off, just bring yourself back with gentleness and compassion. Of course, you are always welcome to stay here as long as you wish. But if you'd like to end with me, you can start to find small movements in your fingers and toes, wrist or ankle circles, a roll of the head, stretch of the arms, whatever helps you feel at home in your body. And then whenever you feel ready, we'll slowly work our way off to one side. We'll slowly work our way off to one side. Taking a moment here, feeling the support of the earth and the expansion of the breath. And whenever you feel ready, slowly working your way up to seated. So thank you for practicing with me today. Of course, we will hopefully be practicing outside a little bit more. So if today was a little off, it's just because I'm a little rusty. Haven't done this in 6 months. But thank you very much for practicing with me. Take care. Namaste.